This program contains language that may not be suitable for some viewers. Viewer discretion is advised.
Hi, and welcome to another look into the fascinating, fabulous world of truck driving. This one comes from August 16th, 2005. The list of states I haven't been to is now smaller than the list of states I have been to. And in the last 2 weeks, the latter list increased by 3 states. The states I've been to, in no particular order: Minnesota, Iowa, Wisconsin, North Dakota, South Dakota, Nebraska, Missouri, Illinois, Indiana, Michigan, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Maryland, West Virginia, Virginia, South Carolina, Georgia, Florida, Tennessee, Kentucky, Arkansas, Mississippi, Texas, Kansas, Colorado, Oklahoma, New Mexico, Arizona, Nevada, California, Wyoming, New Jersey, New York, New Hampshire, Vermont, and Hawaii. Almost did it in one breath. Also just barely the District of Columbia, which isn't a state, and I was only technically in the extreme southern part of it, on the Woodrow Wilson Bridge over the Potomac River. But this morning, in Carrington, North Dakota, there was a really cute boy named Josh, who works at the Dakota Growers Pasta Factory, where I picked up a load. I was all loaded, and I went around the west side of the building and used their scale, because the gross weight of the load was something like 42,000 pounds. But there were 3 rail cars and another truck waiting to get weighed, and I really just wanted to go home. Josh came up and climbed up on the bottom step of the truck and told me it would be a while for the scale. I really wanted to take him home with me, but I'm sure he had work to do. So I left, and now here I am, Joshless. There are just far too many cute boys whom I can't take home with me, or even into the sleeper for 20 minutes, and that's the thing that sucks the most. Or the least, if you want to think about it that way, about this job. Yes, I have a dirty mind, I know that. But of course, there are other things that suck too, like Long Island. I get an extra $40 to go to Manhattan, Brooklyn, Queens, Staten Island, or anywhere on Long Island. I'm not sure if you get it for the Bronx, because that is technically on the mainland and not necessarily reached by a bridge, though the George Washington Bridge is a good way to get there. Anyway, I had a delivery in Hicksville, New York. Yes, Hicksville. Great place. Which was on Long Island. My route was planned to take I-95 through New Jersey up, that's the New Jersey Turnpike, up to I-278 across Staten Island through Brooklyn and Queens to I-495, the Long Island Expressway. That plan didn't work out so well, though, because I'm driving through Brooklyn on the freeway there, and all of a sudden there's this sign: trucks over 12'8", take next exit. Just fucking great. A regular standard semi-truck, if you don't know, is 13'6". This was, of course, before I found out that in New York they don't seem to know the difference between 12'8" and 13'8". So I took the next exit. That was Atlantic Avenue, just like in Monopoly. And indeed I saw Pennsylvania Avenue, St. James Place, etc. Although Monopoly is actually based on Atlantic City. But they have some of the same streets in Brooklyn. Hey, who knew? I didn't, because I've never been to Brooklyn. Where am I? And so I drove down Atlantic Avenue right through the heart of Brooklyn into Queens, which is actually pretty cool. I eventually came to the Van Wyck Expressway, I-678, and took that north to the LIE. That was not the bad part. No, the bad part was when I got out to Hicksville. My directions said to take exit 48 or something like that. So I took the exit, and they said to turn right at the first intersection, so I turned right at the first intersection. But you see, the directions didn't mean for me to turn right at the first intersection. No, they meant for me to turn right at the second intersection. Turning right at the first intersection leads one down a narrow street into a residential neighborhood, and that street dead ends after a little while. So the options are these. 1, attempt to turn right. Not a good option, because there's just no fucking way you're not going to knock down the lamppost on the corner with the trailer. Option 2, go forward down the dead end as far as possible, then execute a 90-degree blindside back down the intersecting street so you can go back the way you came from. Well, I picked option 2. After a few tries, I actually got the trailer down the other street. Good, I'm doing good. Back up a little further so as I can make the turn. Then there's this crunching noise as if I'm running over something like a plastic flower pot. Think side of myself, that's a bad sort of noise. I pull forward, and what do I see but that fucking lamppost lying on the ground. Run over it with the drive wheels. Well, I got the fuck out of there as quick as I could, lamppost be damned. And as if to add insult to injury, ran over it again with the trailer tandems. That was fun. Yeah. Once I got it figured out where I was supposed to go, I went there, got unloaded by a guy who sounded exactly like Robert De Niro, and headed for the next shipper. The next shipper was, of course, farther east on Long Island in Wyandanch. And more shitty directions got me lost again twice. But then the bad part was when I found the place. Okay, here lies Wyandanch Avenue, fairly busy street. Alongside it, on the south side, lies the Linzer Company, manufacturer of painting equipment. Excuse me. The wall of the building lies about 20 feet from the curb. The docks lie about 50 feet inside the building. Thus, I, coming east on Wyandanch Avenue, must execute a 90-degree blindside back into a dark hole inside of a building, whilst blocking off the entire street for a not inconsiderable period of time. My, that was fun. While I waited to be loaded, I sent a message to Kelly, my dispatcher, telling him that I appreciate the extra $40, but would very much appreciate if he never sent me to Long Island again. I haven't said this to Kelly yet, but if I ever get a load destined for Long Island, I am going to take it to Allentown, Pennsylvania, and leave it there. Let someone else deliver it. $40 is not worth it. Oh, but the bridge! I almost forgot the bridge! Like how I pretend like I just forgot it just now instead of several years ago when I wrote it? Yeah. Okay. After emptying my load in Hicksville, I headed up towards the freeway. Well, I missed something because all of a sudden I'm past it and heading north on New York Highway 106. I took a right on Highway 25A. Followed down to Highway 25. Soon enough, too soon, far too soon if you ask me, I see a sign indicating a 12'8" clearance ahead. There's no other fucking place to go. I just stopped dead at the corner in the no stopping zone and sat for a few minutes trying not to cry because I was so exasperated with the whole Long Island situation. Good crime might have felt good just about then, but I had a job to do and I was a fucking professional, and fucking professionals don't go crying about their jobs. Eventually I just said, fuck it. A thing I say quite often. And I put the truck in second gear, crept up to the bridge, perhaps subconsciously thinking that I might surprise it, catch it unawares, so as to sneak under its low clearance without its knowing, so that it wouldn't be able to stop me. Well, I took it under, slow, 3 or 4 miles an hour, stopped, opened the door, looked up. Looks okay, thinks I. Kept going, and of course there was no trouble at all. The bridge clearance was actually 13'8". Fucking New York. I really want to, send a tape measure to New York, just so they can have something to measure bridges with, but oh well. Okay, that's all for today. See you later. Bye-bye.